Tim Walz for vice president. What say you? What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Just finished the show. We're talking about Tim Walz. That is the pick for Kamala Harris, presidential candidate for 2024. That is indeed her running mate. Now, yours truly, I was favoring Kelly out of Arizona. Talking about Senator Mark Kelly, the astronaut. I was favoring him for the simple fact that Arizona is a swing state, and there's a lot of never-Trumpers in that state because a lot of those folks in Arizona favored John McCain, and Trump trashed John McCain 2 years after the guy was dead. So I do believe that Arizona could have likely went to Kamala Harris if Senator Kelly was her VP pick. But there's a few issues coming up in regards to Tim Walz, Senator Kelly, Andy Beshear, certainly Josh Shapiro in regards to her picks. And I don't know what would have came out on General Kelly other than the fact that no, he was anti-union, but that's not going to hurt him on the right. We'd have to hear it. But right now with Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, a couple of the biggest issues seem to be his handling of the riots after the death of George Floyd. I don't know if that's going to hurt him with any left-leaning voters at all, but the right is certainly using that, suggesting that Kamala and Walz is the most far-left team for president, for vice president in American history. Tend to disagree, but we'll talk about it. Right off the bat, Tim Walz grew up in rural Nebraska, moved to Minnesota, 24 years with the Army National Guard. He has a background as a teacher. I believe he coached high school football. He's an avid hunter, which is not necessarily to the left. You don't see too many folks on the left often talking about using firearms in conjunction with hunting. So the identity is far left. I don't see it. So was Tim Walz a good pick? What does he bring to the Kamala Harris ticket? My opinion, it is indeed the middle of America voter. Growing up in rural Nebraska, has a rural history or a history of rural living in Minnesota as well. So he could bring something to the Harris ticket. Certainly, in my opinion, more than J.D. Vance brings to the ticket for President Trump. My opinion on Trump is he felt he had the race in the bag running against Joe Biden. Many analysts believe the same damn thing. So he wasn't concerned as much with who he chose for vice president. You hear him on stage at the Black convention stating, who I picked for vice president don't really matter. You're voting for me. So he wasn't anywhere near as concerned, or in terms of picking a VP, tiptoeing around who he picked at all. I do personally believe that could come back to bite him. So is Tim Walz a far left candidate? Well, in our tribalistic environment that we currently are in, Tim Walz is pro-LGBT. That's far left nowadays to many on the right. Tim Walz is for women having a right to choose. A lot of folks on the right believe that is far left. And certainly acting, at least to some degree, favorable to Black Lives Matter is not going to fare well to anybody who leans right or favors Trump at all. Keep in mind, Trump often stated that Black Lives Matter is a terrorist outfit, and once tweeted out, when the looting starts, the shooting starts, indicating that he would kill looters operating under the banner of Black Lives Matter. So certainly what is considered nowadays as far left probably used to be something of left of center. Nowadays, any type of left-leaning policies at all, tuition forgiveness, universal health care, minimum wage increase, all of that stuff now is considered far left. I don't know if there is a such thing. If you ask the right, Republicans, conservatives, and MAGA, I don't know if there is a such thing as moderate left-leaning individuals. You're either MAGA and a Republican, or you're far to the left. I don't think they even see a left-leaning moderate anymore. It doesn't even exist. So at the end of the day, I do believe Kamala Harris picked a candidate that would be favorable to some progressives. As I just stated, the right is not going to like that. But yeah, I do believe she's going to bring some votes to her party. Fact is, the Democratic Party is pretty united right now, which is why you hear a lot of folks on the right suggesting that Kamala Harris, DEI hire, and she didn't earn the job, and the Democrats should have fought and, picked who they wanted to put to the top. Well, there's a reason why they're saying that. If the Democrats got to choose their candidate, that means you're going to have a primary of sorts. Maybe Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, maybe Kamala Harris, and a few other Democrats would all face off and vie for our votes. Now, this is all happening 3 months before the election, meaning they're going to be attacking each other just like Vivek was attacking Chris Christie, and Nikki Haley and all of them are fighting against each other. Well, the Republican Party doing their job, it makes sense. They want the Democrats to fight against each other. Now, keep in mind, it doesn't matter how many Democrats you got up there vying for the job. The Republicans ain't gonna vote for any of them folks. So hearing the right tell you should fight, as opposed to just letting Kamala get the job, knowing that if you fight, they're not going to support you no matter who the winner is, should tell you all you need to know. You got the right putting you up to a fight and admitting, well, at the end of the day, I'm not going to support you no matter who is the winner of that. Should tell you all you need to know. The Democratic Party chose to stick with Kamala, and ever since doing so, they have remained united. And that is a threat to the Republican Party. That's not to say that Trump is going to lose. He certainly could still win the election, but a united Democratic front is certainly a hell of a lot better for the Democrats than what they were under President Biden, where you had 70% of the Democratic Party suggesting that he was too old, he needed to step down. You had the likes of everyone from Nancy Pelosi on down actually hesitant to even endorse President Biden. Kamala Harris comes on the scene, all the donor money is flooding in, and essentially everyone on the right is now united and firmly behind Kamala Harris. So what do you folks think, though? What do you think I'm getting wrong? Feel free to state it in the comments without any concern of being blocked, banned, or censored. Do you believe out of the picks available to Kamala Harris, she made the right pick? Andy Bashar of Kentucky. I'm not a fan of Governor Bashar because, simply put, Kamala's not going to win Kentucky under any circumstance. He's well-spoken, but I don't know what he adds to the ticket other than a decent speaker. Tim Walz is a decent speaker. Now, that's why I went with Senator Kelly of Arizona, because bringing in Arizona and getting those electoral college votes was valuable. Now, Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, unfortunately, he's Jewish. And right now, both the left and right are not very friendly to the Jewish community. Anytime you hear terms like globalist, you hear terms like Zionist, you hear George Soros, it's all anti-Jew. That's all anti-Jewish tropes. And on the left, obviously with the support coming from the left of Hamas, which I still don't understand, they're not very pro-Jewish either. A lot of folks on the left are upset with Israel. They believe they've overdone it, with Hamas, making victims out of the Palestinians and all of that. So there's not a lot of love for the Jewish on the right or the left. And Josh Shapiro is Jewish and pro-Israel. You heard all the chants of Genocide Joe coming from the left, progressives against Biden. Josh Shapiro would have likely been hammered with that as well. Tim Walz gets to skate on all of that stuff. So the more I look at it, Tim Walz does seem like a more favorable pick over the likes of Josh Shapiro, who had Tennessee under his belt. Not Tennessee, but Pennsylvania, rather, and could have likely brought many votes from Pennsylvania. But that's not to say that Kamala Harris may not win Pennsylvania anyhow. We'll see. But let me know in the comments. We don't block, ban, or censor. I'd love to hear your opinion. Do you believe Tim Walz was the best pick for Kamala Harris? Or who else might you have suggested? And understand, I got a lot of MAGA in the audience. You're not going to favor any of these folks. I get it. But state your case anyway. See you in the next video.